So for today's video, what we're doing is we're going over our whole entire accountability chart for our company. It shows every role and who's accountable for that person in that role. And we'll also go into what we pay that person. Okay, so again, this is an accountability chart, not an org chart. It doesn't show everyone working in that role. It just shows who's accountable. So if something goes wrong in that or in that chart, in that box, like you'll see, whoever's accountable will have their name in that box. So that way we know, as me as the visionary and Chandler as the integrator, which we'll go into in this video, is we know who to say, hey, look, not put the blame on, but who's accountable. Why is the sales department screwing up, or why is the lead managers doing bad? We know who's accountable for those people, so we can go directly to the source and figure out those problems, because everyone in your company needs to be accountable for something. And so if you get someone that's accountable, you can always hold your team accountable, right? It makes sense. So now you know where to go if there's a problem, and how to fix it. You can go right to the source. So hope you guys enjoy it. So let's get into this video. So this is a big picture of our accountability chart. I just want to show it so you can see the size of it. So every department in our company is one of these squares right here, mostly one of these big squares, which we'll get into. And underneath it is the other people and the other roles, excuse me. Again, this is just an accountability chart. This isn't who does this role necessarily, just because their name's there. It just means they're accountable if something goes wrong in that role, right? So let's start at the top over here, and then we'll work our way down. And I actually got guests over here. I'm in Barcelona right now. We got guests visiting, so if you hear some background noise, sorry about that. But all right, let's hit the top. So visionary integrator, where does this come from? It comes from the EOS system. The book Traction is based on the EOS system, where there's a visionary that leads the company and an integrator. You can see there are two different deals, right? Two different business or two different jobs. The first one is visionary, is obviously to come up with these ideas. They'll lead the company through ideas. It's usually a person that's an entrepreneur is usually the visionary. Our ideas are to make business, make companies, and grow the company. While the integrator's job is to literally be the sidekick. I mean, it's a very important role. This relationship is very important. Another book to read where you can understand this exactly, these two things, is called Rocket Fuel. Rocket Fuel. And Rocket Fuel is a very good book I would recommend looking at, but we won't go too much into details other than that. My role is the visionary. I'm supposed to lead, bring 20 ideas, big relationships. Any big problem solving, it's on me. So if we get title problems, like a recent property, or buyer backed out last minute, I had to raise funds to get us to buy that property because we didn't want to let down our seller. And actually, it was a whole other wholesaler we were buying it from. And then underneath me, obviously I'm the visionary now. Doesn't mean you have to be the owner of the business to be a visionary, but I am. So in terms of pay, I'll just get the total profits of the company, right? As visionary, this is how my business is ran. Again, this is not saying that you have to do it this way, because you'll see how our pay structure is for different employees, and it's not going to be the same for everyone. So underneath me is Chandler's our integrator. Most important role I would say in the whole entire business is the integrator. Their job is to make sure that everyone, that their lead, you can see in the first sentence, lead, manage, and hold everyone accountable. Everyone meaning the department heads underneath, which we'll get into. So their job is also to get in touch with to get to monitor the P&L, profit and loss statement of the company. So they're the backbone of the company. They might be not the most seen, right? It's kind of if you guys understand, if you heard the story about Disney, there was Walt and I believe a guy named Roy. And Walt was the visionary. He's the one that was making the art and visualizing how this company's going to go. And Roy was his backup man. Not even backup. He was his second man. He was his Robin. He was the one that was putting all these stuff into place. He was never seen. No one really sees Roy, right, in terms of on the news, the media, or whatever it may be. But Roy was the backbone of the business and the secret sidekick that Walt did. He wouldn't be able to do anything without Roy. And I believe it's Roy. If I've screwed it up, sorry about it. But Chandler's to remove obstacles in the business, anything that's coming up that's not working for, let's say, the sales department. Chandler's got to get with the sales department head and strategize on how we can fix it. Special projects. If I come up with some ideas, Chandler's job is to say, hey, look, we can do this, we can, and if we can, I'm going to figure out how we can do this, right? Part of my 20 ideas. All right, so let's go down now. And Chandler's pay, it's profit share. I'm not going to say the exact amount, but just for Chandler's own security, but it's profit share is how we pay our integrator. Some people pay him just a base. I want them to be able to, if they want to take this company to new levels, if they want to be a part of my growth, if they want to feel, which they should, a part of the growth, they need a benefit off that. So I'm giving them profit share of the company. It did start out as a little base and then profit share. Now it's just full profit share because we know we're going to be taking this pretty big. So just profit share the business, so he'll benefit, once he's growing this business. So let's go down here to the sales, or excuse me, marketing now. So we'll work over here. We'll go down to our marketing. Actually, let's go to wholesale department real quick. So this is a newer market we just added in here recently. So you can see Chandler, this person's name, is accountable for the wholesale department. This is our JV department, right? You can see all the stuff they do in here. I won't read everything. We'll be here forever, but on all these boxes. But you can see Chandler's accountable. Again, everyone that's names here are accountable. Not necessarily that they're doing it. Like Chandler's not doing anything with wholesaling, but he's holding Zach, who is doing it, accountable. So you can see under here, Zach has to build, get wholesaler leads, list building, content creation, relationship management, getting on with people's calls, and underwriting for himself. He has to do that, Zach. So again, that's for the wholesale department. Let's move over to the right here. It's Marion. This is a VA. Oh, Zach, by the way, he gets paid 10 to 15% depending on how much deals. So if he does over, I believe, 25,000, he'll get 15%. Anything under that's 10%. So, that's what his payroll is like. Marion here is our VA. She's a VA for Venezuela. She's worked a lot of these marketing roles for us. Like she used to be a texter full time for us, and now we worked her up to where she used to do list actually, then text, and then now she's a whole department head. So we pay her, I believe, $7 an hour. Might be even a little bit more. Chandler's the one handling that, which we'll get to actually. But she gets $8 an hour. She's in charge of all of our marketing. So she's in charge of our direct mail, list management, cold calling, SMS, TV. And the thing is usually you would have under here like a cold callers and SMS and texters under this, but we've outsourced that to a company, which is actually a company we own. So technically it doesn't go on this accountability chart. So again, usually under here you would add a box and you would say your cold caller and your texter and what they do. Now we just have her in charge of all lead gen because she actually does that for another company. So she's in charge of direct mail, list management, cold calling, SMS, TV. She's looking at those numbers, making sure if we don't hit our numbers on those, we don't get many SMS leads, we're putting it on her. Why didn't it happen? And she has to give us a good reason, and she's got to tell us how she's going to fix that. Content creation, just like SMS campaigns and mail pieces, that's her. Websites, her. Brand management, this is where I come in a little bit, like very, not that, not that important role, I would say. It's just when I get t-shirts for the company and all the branding for the company. So just little small stuff. And so if we want to break down what we pay our cold callers and our texters and TV, I'll just do that for this sake of the video. Cold calling we pay for our guys roughly around $6 to $7, and they're all bilingual. SMS is we pay again about $5 actually to $6 on our SMS, and TV pay around about $25K a month for TV. So big spend there. Again, Mary makes about $7 to $8 an hour. She will probably be one day making about $50K with us in the future, because once we start scaling up, we know she can do the role. She should be being paid about $50K down the future here. Now, again, all these boxes up here you see, they're on top. These are called department heads. Those department heads directly report to Chandler as the integrator. Now you see Chandler is one of them, but they report to Chandler. So these department heads are like the leaders of the department, obviously, right? They're the heads, and these people are directly report to Chandler. So it's a good flow system, right? So Chandler as integrator just manages the department heads and not all the people underneath. The people underneath are managed by the department heads, right? Makes sense. So Jared here, new role. We just did this a week ago. It used to be me in this acquisitions or sales department, sales manager role. Jared's job is to literally oversee all of our salespeople, right? So our lead managers, our acquisition managers, he's making sure the call quality control is there, the deal analysis, networking, testimonials. He's accountable to making sure all this happens and all this is working efficiently. He also is getting paid. We're just starting to work it in more. We're still talking with Jared. He's the only one that we're kind of talking with him about pay, because we were doing an average about $150 a month before he came. So we really want to incentivize him on anything he brings more than that in the future. So we're thinking of doing about 3 to 5% of anything above that, and have some sort of base too for him, because we want to incentivize him. We get 500K months coming up. Well, now Jared's making 25K a month, if or roughly say that's 350 more than our 150. Well, he'll be making around another $20,000 a month. And so that would be a very good 5% of that 350 extra he brought in is around that 20,000. So we want to incentivize Jared a lot, to grow this company. So lean management. Why the heck am I in here? Oh, because I was accountable for this. We haven't updated it. See, this is going to be very messed up. Lead management now is Jared. He's supposed to be in all these. I'll fix this real quick. So sorry, I had to fix all that since, like I said, we just did it. So Jared's in charge of lead management. Lead managers on our team, we have two types, right? We have a virtual or we have an American. Americans are getting paid 2K base, 3 to 5% commission, 3% up to 25K, I believe, and over that, these are just rough numbers. Over that is 5% if they make for us. So 2K base plus those commissions. Virtual is about 7 an hour for a lead manager, and $200 per deal. And let's see what else. So acquisitions or appointments is Jared, Stelly, and Jorge. Those are acquisition managers. Stelly's making 10 to 12% based on, again, those commissions are on the numbers hit. And Jorge's actually overseas doing this in Bolivia, and we're paying him 3 to 5% of the deal, or $500 per deal. So we go with testimonials. Jared's in charge of with the sellers now to get them testimonials once we buy their properties. That way we can get, obviously testimonials up. Also quality control. We have a VA that does this for us. Pay her $6 an hour. She listens to all lead manager calls, and you can obviously see what she does. She grades them, identifies what needs improvement, and decides what call type it is. Chandler's involved in networking now. That's what he's accountable for. Wholesalers, meetups, realtors. I mean, that goes back to this one over here. He's in charge of, as a wholesale department head, to build his relationships with those wholesalers. So it kind of doubles up right here. So yeah, it doubles up. And then deal analysis is you never want to have two people in one box, because then you don't know who's accountable. Which one is it? But right now, since we're going through a transfer, I put this here because, it's me going to be pushing it to Jared in the next 60 days to be doing just deal analysis. So you put it on there as a hash mark, because right now it's technically me and Jared. But in 60 days, it should just be Jared on this, right? So let's move over now to our dispo department. It's actually all ran by Brandy, and Brandy gets a 3K base, and she gets $100 per deal. Or excuse me, she gets $500 per deal. I lied to you. So a 3K base and $500 per deal. We were paying her $1,000 a deal, but at one point she was needing a lot of money up front for a personal issue, and she said, I'd rather have the safety of knowing that I can get the 3,000 plus 500 more. Not that I don't think we'll close 3 deals a month, but just because that's the type of, what she wanted. And that's very important here. This is a very important lesson. I know we're going over the accountability chart, but not all employees want to be on commission solely, right? Some people are not, wanting, mentally they just don't want to be on commission only, because it's too much stress on them, too much pain, and they got to work, and they'll overwork themselves, and they won't work effectively. So it's very important to see what your employee wants, right? Some of our lead managers, like I said, are on just base commission, and then a base and commission. But if we just put them on base, they would freak out, man. They wouldn't be able to work as much, or excuse me, wouldn't be able to work as effective, because they're still worried about getting, paid, and they're afraid they won't get paid, and it affects their position. So a lot of people pay their dispo just based on commission. I'm gonna tell you, I'm fine doing this with Brandy and putting her on a base and some commission, because she's not the type to now say, oh well, I'm not getting a commission, I'm not gonna negotiate a higher price. I'm not getting a percentage of the deal. Tell me, Brandy's goes higher than anything I ask her to do. I say, hey, blast at 100, she'll get a buyer for 120. So I know Brandy's personality. You got to know your personality of your person to know what they want. If you know that person's not going to push for you, then you might tell them, hey, look, one, you're not either a good fit for the role, or two, you have to work on a commission basis, because on the total deal size, because I need these deals to be higher. And the only way for those deals to be higher is because I feel like I have to incentivize you to, negotiate a higher price. So, just based on your person, you need to figure that out. But here's all the stuff Brandy does, right? She's emails blasting, she's getting buyer leads, she's networking, she's client relations with the buyers, she's figuring out exit strategy. Funny enough, or not funny enough, but that actually comes down to one of my roles. So my goal is to be out of every circle, or every square, excuse me, and I'm getting very close. From when I first started out, I did everything, and now I'm getting very, very close. I just got these little ones here, right? Deal analysis and exit strategy, which are very minimal ones, that I'm happy to still be in right this second, but I will be getting out of them soon. But she's in charge of all this except the exit strategy. I want to be the one to pick. Hey, I want to buy that and hold that one. I want to wholesale it. I want to owner finance or wholesale it, or we'll figure. I want to be the one in charge to make those decisions. Now, is it scalable? No. So that's why I'm going to have to work my way out of that. But Brandy, again, she's getting 3K, $500 a month. TC, Melanie, actually my girlfriend, she's in charge of, obviously all the closing attorneys, scheduling closings, lending coordination, setting up pictures of sellers. Again, you can see that all down here. You can see I'm right here on the side with her because I should be giving this to her fully in the next probably 30 days. It's just reviewing the HUDs and making sure closings she's accountable for, but making sure the HUDs are correct. HUD review I'm training her on, which again, she should be good, probably even less than 30 days. Excuse me, from when we filmed this video. Her job is she's accountable for that. With me, scheduling, that's with EMD, proof of funds from seller buyers if we need it. Lender coordination, she's job is to go with our lenders that we get, our private lenders, and just tell them, hey, look, we need to have this loan closed at this time. She gets paid $3K with $100. So what we figured out, we were paying her $400 a closing, but what was happening with her too is she's used to getting paid and working the salary somewhere, right, or base. So she was getting fright. Oh, when these deals are closing, they're all closing later. I worked so hard for this deal and it freaking fell through. So stuff like that. Mentally, she wasn't ready to be having full commission. She might never be, which is fine. That's again going back to just knowing your employees and finding something that works for them. So we felt that was a profitable way for us too, if we just pay her 3K base and $100, because we're planning to do more than 10 deals a month. Project management. This is one Chandler's trying to get out and put it to Anthony, but this is for anything we do wholesale with, right? Any wholesale deals we do, anytime we take a property down, inspections, punch lists. We never do big flips, so this is never really a big deal, but that is Chandler's responsibility. Progress walkthrough, turn on and off water, electric, gas, insurance, utilities, very important. That's Chandler's what's accountable. Again, he's not that he's doing it, it's he's accountable for someone to do it. Contract management, if we get contractors, which rarely happens, Chandler's involved in that. Writing timeline, budgets, design, materials. Again, we're not huge flippers. We do mostly wholesales. What do wholesales consist of? Literally clean out list on the market. That's it. We never even do kitchens, never do flooring, never do carpet. Barely even if we had to fix something, we'll do the bare minimum because we just want to put it on the market. The market's so hot right now as we speak in August of 2021. For us to spend time to do all these things, we're not seeing a return on our investment. We'd rather just get it as is, sell it to Open Door or sell it to someone on the market and get paid. Anthony's salary, his is, I believe, again, Chandler, which we'll get to, handles finance, so he knows more about this. I probably should have came better prepared. But Anthony, I believe he's $500 a month or per transaction and 2K base. So $500 a month on this per deal that we do, and 2K basis. Job is to get this property cleaned out, get it ready so we can just list it on the market. And the final most important one I would say is Chandler here, right? So funny enough, actually, I'm not even doing this either. Oh, taxes I am. So, but Chandler's in charge of all of our reports, our bookkeeping, our IT, accounts receivable, accounts payable, which we don't have much of those in wholesale, but payable we do. Process management, budget, scheduling. So he's in charge of getting a P&L month end reconciliation, which just means like, hey, you got to make sure we're not getting double charged twice on things. Property summaries, variance report, bookkeeping. He's held accountable. He's not doing again all these, but he's holding the people accountable that are. IT, hardware, software. We have a VA that does that for us, right? That we pay $6 an hour. That handles all of our like Salesforce, which is our CRM or any software stuff. Bookkeeper, we pay about $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month for, because we also have a CFO. We pay for a CFO, partial CFO, and it's at 2K, which includes bookkeeping. Chandler actually does this with her, so he actually does that process management. Chandler runs budgets, right? Chandler's in charge of all this stuff under our finance department. It's probably our most important one. I mean, you can say all these have their most important, but this one's what keeps our business afloat, constantly looking, constantly checking our numbers. We need to know our KPIs. We need to know our numbers on profitability, because that's how we're going to be around for the next 5 to 10 years. So my accounts receivable and payable, I'm the one that we get our tax attorney or our tax accountant, obviously, to handle it. We pay them about $3K a year, and it includes like 8 hours of time talking with them and planning and strategizing for our taxes. So that's what I pay for this guy here, just to give you guys a whole idea. But hopefully that was a good walkthrough of our business. Again, it starts up here with our visionary integrator. Owner's box eventually is where I hope to be at, and full time, where I'm not even in visionary. One day I'm just in the owner's box and sitting back and let the business run itself. Right now, my job is to do all these things. Me and Chandler hold this company together. This year, we'll probably hit around 1.7 and 1.75 in gross profits, wholesale fees, wholesale profits, all that stuff, right? But that's not net. It's not. We run about 45% net of that, after paying all commissions and employees and all that. So, but that 1.7, we're hoping to next year be around about 4 million at the minimum. So for us to do that, we need to have all this in place, everyone accountable, and we're going to be pushing hard. So if you guys have any questions, though, leave them down below. Please like and subscribe so I can make more videos like this. And again, please, any questions down below, and I'll answer them as soon as I can. Thank you.